very difficult for the Watford too. Guys, do comment down your team. Let's see which team got as the most supporter in this live stream. Watford or Tottenham? The Watford too. Watford or Tottenham? Let's see who has got the most supporter in this tournament. Let's see, guys, who has got more supporter, Watford or Tottenham. It's very difficult for Watford to win against Tottenham. Tottenham's got in last 6 games. Tottenham have won 4 games and draw 2 games, while Watford has lost their while Watford has lost their all the games. Let's see what happens. It's a very difficult for the let's see what happens. In the sides, both Wolverhampton and probably wish their Premier League outright among the slow and the recent experiments out on the worst remains on the prediction on the drop of the four, which stands the longest streak in a single match since stretch loses in 65, which they record on the way on the finishing in the 17th. In a sight to find their struggle may continue for extended period. Watford have concluded 2+ goals in their 5 consecutive Premier League outstanding with a near full strength defense. However, having lost by a narrow 1-0 scoreline in a head-to-head game earlier in this season, following 2-2 draw in their relegation bounce in 1920. In 2019 and 20 season, perhaps the site of Lily Void Sports on there. Tottenham must be keep on subscribing new year and new mantra as they have won the first Premier League match of a new year. They have scored 3+ goals. There have been three or more goals scored in the total each of Watford last 4 games. It's gonna be very difficult for the Watford 2 games again to win the games. Tottenham is in the 7th position of the Premier League, and while the Watford is in the 17th position of the Premier League. It's gonna be very difficult for Watford to win against the 7th position Tottenham Hotspur. There has been a first half goal scorer in each of Watford's last 6 games in a row. There has been a first goal scored in each of Watford's last 8 home games in a row. Tottenham have scored before halftime in their last 4 figures. It's good for the Tottenham though. They have scored 4 goals. They have scored in a 4 figures before the halftime. Both team have scored. Both team have scored in Watford's last 6 games. %71% of the Premier League games this season have ended with an odd number, with an odd total number of goals. There has been more goals in the first half of the Premier, 57% of the league away this season. There has been more goals in the first half in the Tottenham's last 3 games. There has been a red card. There has been a red card in each of Tottenham's last 2 games. Tottenham have concluded back-to-back red card. Why are they playing so rough? I cannot understand. Back-to-back red card for the Tottenham Hotspur in the last 2 games. There has been a red card in each of the Tottenham's last 3 away games. Tottenham has been playing so rough in this tournament. This season has been red card season for the Tottenham Hotspur. It's a very difficult match for the Watford because the Watford have lost back-to-back 6 games in a row. While Watford is standing 17 in the Premier League position, while Tottenham is in the 7th position of the Premier League table. Watford have also lost their 3 home matches in a row. While losing the home matches in a 3 in a row, it's very difficult for the team. Tottenham also have won just one of their last 5 Premier Leagues away games. The record of Tottenham is also not good in the away games, but they are far better away. Tottenham is a far better side than Watford. Let's see what happens.
In the holding midfield role, there's 4 of Ken Sema on the right of midfield. Imran Loza, Yaray Kutska and Joshua King is on the left midfield with Emmanuel Dennis up front. Lots been spoken about him this week as he completes the 11. And of course, after today, they say goodbye to several of their players who leave for the African Cup of Nations for the next few weeks. As the likes of William Trostikong being selected for Nigeria means he will be going to the tournament in Cameroon, as does Adam Messina and Imran Loza, who are going with Vahid Halilhodžić's Morocco for the tournament in the Cameroon. But surprisingly, no Emmanuel Dennis, who will stay for the duration of the tournament with Watford due to his country Nigeria asking him to be in their squad at late notice, according to Watford. For Tottenham, they don't have any players heading to the African Cup of Nations, but Antonio Conte still makes changes to his team, albeit 2 of them anyway. Oliver Skipp comes in place of Harry Winks, who is on the bench, and Lucas Moura comes in for Delhi, who is the other replacement in the starting lineup for the Lily Whites this afternoon. So Tottenham in full, then their typical 3-4-2-1 formation. They do sometimes play that 3-5-2, or they do sometimes play with 2 inside forwards. They've gone with the latter one today. It is Hugo Lloris in goal. Back three, Davinson Sanchez, Eric Dyer and Ben Davies. They've struck up a good partnership as a three, haven't they, since Antonio Conte arrived. Emerson Royal, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Oliver Skip and Sergio Reguilon are the four, with Emerson Royal and Reguilon the wing-backs on the right and the left respectively. Lucas Moura and Heung-min Son are the two inside forwards, with Harry Kane up front. And he has bagged 3 in his last 3 games in the Premier League and just loves playing on New Year's Day. No player has ever scored more than his 5 goals on this particular day. Can he strike again, as he has done in 2015, 2017 and 2019, including a brace on this day against this opponent at this very ground. So as you know, he has a previous history. So the substitutes for both sides then: Watford, Vincent Angelini's their sub-goalkeeper, Jeremy Ngakia, James Morris, Tom Cleverley, Dan Gosling, Ozin Tufan, Joao Pedro, Ashley Fletcher and Cucho Hernandez are their subs. Tottenham, Pierluigi Golini, Matt Doherty, Joe Rodon, Japhet Tanganga, Harry Winks, Giovanni Lo Celso, Dele, Tanguy Ndombele and Brian Hill. Well, it's 2 coaches against each other, both from Italy, and Claudio Ranieri and Antonio Conte, who have a great mutual adoration and respect for each other, but that friendship and everything else with it is cast aside for the next 90 minutes, as both managers look to get one over on each other, in which previously the 2 fixtures played by both these managers with their teams has seen Antonio Conte win them both, as they both share a warm embrace of each other with their masks on, albeit Ranieri's just decided to take his off for this game. And speaking about the 2 times Antonio Conte has beaten Claudio Ranieri, both when he was at Chelsea and Ranieri was at Leicester. But before the game starts, both sets of players, officials and staff take the knee in solidarity in the fight against racism and discrimination. It will be Tottenham in all purple from head to toe, kicking from left to right in this first half. Watford, of course, in their yellow shirts, the sort of black stripes down the middle, black shorts and yellow socks. Header on by Højbjerg to Harry Kane, around about 20 yards from goal with his back to it. Emerson Royal's come up in support. Here is now Oliver Skip. Emerson Royal now on this right-hand side. Tottenham looking for a fast start here at Vicarage Road. Cross goes in. It's deflected off of Adam Messina. Goes into the air, but carries all the way through to Daniel Bachmann, who gets his first touch of the ball this afternoon. Our referee is Robert Jones, fairly new to the Premier League refereeing circuit. Compared to some of the referees who've got a lot more experience under their belt, he's only been doing this for just over 2 years, compared to the likes of the other referees who've been managing for well over sort of 4 times the amount of years that he's been reffing in the top flight. Emerson Royal put under pressure by Musa Sissoko. Royal then plays it back to Davinson Sanchez. Eric Dyer in his own box plays it to Hugo Lloris, who's in all orange this afternoon. Plays it out of the box to his left and finds Ben Davies. Here is now Davinson Sanchez once more on the ball. I was speaking about Conte and Ranieri just a few minutes ago. It's the Premier League's oldest manager, and Ranieri looking for a different result and a first win in the English top flight against the Tottenham manager today. As the ball goes forward, it's now Josh King with it, round about 20 yards from goal, into Emmanuel Dennis, slipped into him, into the box he goes, thought about going onto his left foot, still carries on his right, does go on the inside this time on his left foot, strikes it at goal, but Hugo Lloris saves. It was really good play by Emmanuel Dennis. We know how quick off his feet he is, we know how good he is at setting chances up, and he tried to do a sort of similar opportunity and position to where he scored against West Ham from, coming on his left foot when he hit it into the top corner. He tried it first time, had to go onto his right foot on the outside, then came back onto his left foot. Must have been about sort of 7-8 yards out, struck it low, but it was tamed straight at Hugo Lloris. Here is Emerson Royal to Oliver Skip, who of course played against Watford in the Championship for Norwich last season. Puts the ball on the left-hand side of the box, looking for Reguilon. Away though by the Watford midfielder Jere Kutska, who gets there first. Is Dennis trying to get away from Ben Davies, who goes to ground with a well-timed sliding tackle, and it will be a Watford throw. So, no doubt, William Trostikong, of course, of Nigeria will be going to the African Cup of Nations, as I mentioned. Dennis as well won't be going. They'll be delighted with that, the Hornets fans. He's been directly involved in 10 goals in his last 8 Premier League matches as Emmanuel Dennis. 6 goals, 4 assists, as well as having a hand in 67% of their goals. The Hornets have scored in those outings, 10 out of 15. Clearance goes into the Watford half. Siadalta, with that ponytail, gets up above Harry Kane. Kane and Siadalta both competing again. A couple of headers between both sides. Can one team get the ball down? No, they can't. Emerson Royale gets their first against King. Plays it into the air. Regulon there is called Yara Kutska. And the man with Kutcho on his shirt, or Kutso I should say, has won the free kick for Watford, which Robert Jones was in a good position to spot. Played just under 4 minutes. Watford 0, Tottenham 0. Second meeting between these two. The first meeting resulted in a Tottenham win when they went on that run of 3 straight 1-0 wins to start the season under Nuno Espirito Santo. That was as good as it got at Tottenham for Antonio Conte's predecessor. Here is Davinson Sanchez, around about 25 yards from his own goal. To Emerson Royale, played every game under Antonio Conte so far this season, since the Italian arrived through the door. Ben Davies now. Goes inside Watford's half, finds Reguilon, Højbjerg. Now he goes out towards Emerson Royale's made the run on the right-hand side, takes under control of his face in the box, flicks it over the head of the Watford defender, into Kane, who tried the acrobatic finish, but just couldn't get it goalwards, could he? And sliced at it in truth, the England captain and Spurs number 10. But that could be a sign of things to come for Watford. Of course, the wing-backs for Tottenham, Reguilon and Royale, will push high as much as they can, look to really create that opportunity for the strikers or attackers. Messina plays the ball down the middle, looking for Josh King. Away by Davies, Reguilon's in the box. To Hyun-Min Song, good pressing though by Imran Loza. Here's Dennis now, drifting over to the right-hand side. Looking to take on Reguilon. Tried to get a corner, but Reguilon used his body well to get the touch in. Play it to Hyun-Min Song, who played it in the box to Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. One of the top 10 passers in the Premier League, incidentally. Is the Dane who has really been very consistent for Spurs over the sort of 18 months he's been at the club. Gets it again, opens up, touch, and then plays out to Sergio Reguilon. To Davies, Eric Dyer on the halfway line. Plays it right out to the right-hand side with Emerson Royale. We're going to get the beating of Ken Sema. One of 3 changes to the Watford side for this afternoon's match. Dyer. Now to Ben Davies, got a bit of space to run into. Gets the crossing in the Watford box. Finds Kane. Poor touch lets him down. He gives it straight to Lucas Moore on the edge of the box. Over to the right-hand corner of the box of Emerson Royale. Scoops it in there. Away by Imran Loza there as Tottenham look to apply some pressure. But Josh King goes down under a challenge from a purple shirt, as Tottenham have kicked the ball out of play. So the Norwegian Josh King can receive some treatment. Well, 6 minutes gone. You'd have to say it has been a positive start made by Spurs. Emerson Royale in particular is being used quite frequently so far. There has been a couple of times where he has evaded the notice of the Watford defenders, particularly down this left-hand side. So you'd hope that doesn't become a regular occurrence in this game if you are a Watford fan listening. Remember, if Tottenham win today, they will go to 5th place in the league, 2 points behind their North London rivals Arsenal in the table, who let a 1-0 lead slip against Manchester City in that game earlier on, which Manchester City recorded an 11th straight win. Ball out to the left, looking for Sergio Reguilon, has gone out of play as he tried all his very, very best to chase it all the way down and keep it in. He's actually had to stop himself as he reaches the advertising boards. But of course they could only be ahead of West Ham, one of the 2 sides who they look to leapfrog. Them and Manchester United for only a couple of hours anyway, as they take on Crystal Palace later at Selhurst Park. So it's a Watford goal kick. Daniel Bachmann with the kick, certainly standing out with his kick. It's certainly sort of a light blue, sort of greenish colour, as he gets it back from William Trostikong. who will captain Nigeria at the African Cup of Nations, in which he said it was the biggest honour he's had so far in his career. Craig Cathcart. Now to Adam Messina. We'll probably look to play it back to to Sierralta, which he does. Bachmann plays it out to the right, looking for Craig Cathcart, who is unable to keep it in play. And it will be a Tottenham throw, which is taken quickly by Reguilon. Thrown back into his own half to Ben Davies. Eric Dyer right on the centre circle. Takes a couple of touches and plays with his right foot out to the left with Ben Davies. You do like to see maraud forward. Reguilon. Left by Davies for Kane. Davies gets it back. Looks for Skip. Left by him. Emerson Royale's there alongside him. High cross to the back post on the left-hand side of the box. Over the head of Kane. Kucho then, or Kuchka, I should say, brings it out. And then he loses out as Højbjerg plays it to Dyer. So Tottenham showing a lot of urgency to win the ball back in the opening sort of 10 minutes of this one at Vicarage Road. Still goalless. Emerson Royale, he's got two in the box to pick out. Lucas and Harry Kane in there. Heung-min Son just drifting in there. Højbjerg trying to flick it forward. Ahead of him to Lucas Moura's on the edge of the box, but Watford clear away. Tottenham now have it once more. Over to the left with Reguilon. Over to close him down is Yelai Kutska. Forward by Kane into Højbjerg. Lovely little chest into Heung-min Son. Trace de Kono with the touch in there. Then has to slide in against Højbjerg to play it to his right and find Kucho. The man who has that on his shirt. If you don't know who that is, then it is Yelai Kutska. Here's Davinson Sanchez. Watford at the moment cannot get out, struggling to do so. Oliver Skip through the middle. Over to Heung-min Son. The South Korean into Skip again, into the box. Trying to poke it through to Harry Kane. Watford making a bit of a mess to clear it. It's just gone off Sissoko. Gone all the way through to Bachmann, who then sends it into the sky. And Watford are able to clear the danger for now. Here is now Davinson Sanchez. Four alongside him. The one he's gone to the right of is Emerson Royale, who he picks out. Sanchez gets it back from Lucas Moura. Here is now Eric Dyer. Short to Davinson Sanchez. Every Tottenham outfielder is inside the Watford half. Over to the right with Emerson Royale. Plays it to his left and goes short to Skip. Here is Sanchez. Into the middle now to Ben Davies. In a bit of space, the Welsh defender. To the edge of the box to Son. Now to Højbjerg. Sanchez. Over to Emerson Royale. Lets it run in front of him. Has to go right over to this right-hand touchline to keep the attack alive. Skips directly behind him on that side. Sanchez seems to just be going from one side to the other at the moment for Tottenham. Davis. Over to Reguilon. He's going to try and get the cross in. Heung-min Son. Reguilon nearly got it back. And then Kuchkin's there. Dennis was the man he finds. And then he was blocked off, was he, by Ben Davies. Referee Robert Jones says no, and Tottenham have it back once more. Here is Davinson Sanchez. Over to Emerson Royale again, who has seen a lot of the ball so far. Into the box to Kane on the right-hand side of it. Back heel through the legs of a couple of Watford players looking for Emerson Royale. But Musa Sissoko, the captain, gets his body up in front of Emerson Royale. And it will be a Watford goal kick. Well, they did struggle to break Southampton down, who had 10 men, didn't they? Mohamed Salisu was sent off in that game. Right at the end of the first half, in which Tottenham did look a little bit laboured and quite fatigued in that match, in fact. Antonio Conte certainly noticed that and mentioned of it in his post-match press conference from the St Mary's Stadium on Tuesday. Bachmann with the kick into the Tottenham half. King with the little chest into Dennis, but there to step in is Reguilon. Davies clears it against the Watford player. There was an arm used there. Robert Jones has his arms out by either side to say let the advantage continue with Tottenham in possession. 12 minutes played. Watford 0, Tottenham 0. Remember, Watford have not kept a clean sheet this season. The last time they did was February 2020, when, of course, Liverpool came here, when they were in that formidable run under Jurgen Klopp, and they lost 3-0. The manager that day was Nigel Pearson. Hard to keep track of who's managed Watford in the Premier League, given they have wielded the axe so often down in Hertfordshire. Here is Emerson Royale, Lucas Moura, carrying the ball forward. Into the box he goes over to the right-hand side of it, drills it in. It's gone off Messina. Dennis struggling to clear. Stepping in there was Ben Davies. Over to Lucas Moore on the right-hand side. Tries to get the cross in. But it was too low and it comes off Ken Sema. If he played it to his left, Emerson Royale was in a little bit of space just inside the box. But Lucas Moore decided to put the cross in rather than going short and potentially, as well as that, getting the return ball back from the Tottenham Hotspur right wing back. Eric Dyer over to the right hand side again with Emerson Royale. There's 3 Tottenham players in the box in Son, Lucas and Kane. Decides against putting it into the box. Oliver Skip put under pressure and he's unsuccessful in trying to pass it back to Emerson Royale. Good chasing back there by Joshua King. It will be a Watford throw-in, level with their penalty area. And we were due to have another game in the Premier League this afternoon, Leicester versus Norwich, but that's been postponed due to the high amount of injuries and COVID cases in the Norwich camp. Throw-in is taken by Messina. Looks down the line on the left-hand side, looking for King. Out jump though by Emerson Royale. Middle to Ben Davies. Plays it out to the left with Reguilon. Watford have got every outfielder back inside their own half. They're going to keep things tight. Højbjerg trying to fizz it into Heung-min Son and cannoned off Sierralta as well as missing Heung-min Son. Good challenge going in though by Imran Loza. Here is now Kuchka. Gets back up to his feet after getting a little clip off the back of his heels from Ben Davies. Here is Sissoko. Midway through his own half to Adam Messina. Now just drifts into the Tottenham half. Played it to Sierralta, who's had his injury problems this season as the Chilean defender. Missed various matches this season with muscle problems. Forward it goes by Cathcart into the right-hand channel. Eric Dyer flicks it forward, looking for Reguilon, but he can only flick it out of play for a throw-in to Watford, who are making a rare appearance inside the Tottenham half. 15 gone. Watford 0, Tottenham 0. No chances of note really to say apart from that Emmanuel Dennis tame effort straight at Hugo Lloris. Tottenham have been dominant in possession but yet to really test the Austrian Daniel Bachmann in the Watford goal. Craig Cathcart pulls on Sergio Reguilon and it will be a Tottenham free kick inside their own half. Speaking of Tottenham, they've got exactly the same points as what they did at this stage of last season under Jose Mourinho. They're on 30 points as it is, albeit with 8 wins to their name from last season. They've got 9 already. They had 6 draws last year, 3 draws this season, and they have as well less losses last year than what they do this year. 5 losses this year, 3 last season. So there is pros and cons to that. Certainly as well, scored a lot more goals. 29 last season to 22 this season, which is something Antonio Conte has tried to address and has done so in a short amount of time. Lucas Moore with the ball in the box. Not the best header west. Comes to Højbjerg, who hit it first time. But he's hit it over into the stand behind the goal. First time there was a threatening ball in of some sort into the box. Trostikong and Cathcart were both there. Trostikong ducked underneath it. Cathcart headed it straight to Højbjerg. Must have been about sort of 16 yards out. And he's just tried to hit it across it, hasn't he? But hits it over the bar. Has already scored this season as Emil Højbjerg scored against Aston Villa and at home to Leeds United, so he is not too bad when trying to take aim for a strike at goal. And that is the first opportunity that Tottenham have had of this entire match so far, with 18 minutes about to be played. Nice little flick in by Lucas, left by Højbjerg. Gets the call from Kane. He's going to carry it forward. Ball just gets stuck behind him. Kuchka there, being tigerish as ever, the Slovakian midfielder with the sort of yellow tape around his sort of left wrist, tattooed as well as Juraj Kuchka, one of a few big names from Slovakian football that have made it in European football and played across the board in Serie A, Turkey, and now in English football. Lucas Moore around about 18 yards out central. Was he fouled by Imran Loza there? Robert Jones was quite close to it and thought Loza got the ball. Got the best clearance by Davinson Sanchez. Sema tries to play it to King. He's gone well beyond him and straight to a purple shirt. Hyun Min Son to Emerson Royale, midway through the Tottenham half over on the right-hand side. In the middle to Skip, round about 25 yards out. Pings the ball out to Sergio Reguilon. Tried to go through the legs of Kucka, but the Slovakian midfielder's there. Højbjerg on the left-hand side now, trying to take hold of the attack for Spurs. Missed clearance by Sissoko. Miscued into the air. Kucka away. Heads it straight to Kane. He's going to go for the curler on target, but straight at Daniel Bachmann. Well, it was a good position for Kane to strike from. Just outside the edge of the box. The sort of left-hand side of it. He got that touch to bring it in front of him. Let the ball just roll a couple of yards and then went for the curler, but didn't curl it far enough away from Daniel Bachmann, who was able to just stand central of his goal near enough and get a firm grip on it first time. Into Josh King, goes down from the challenger Davinson Sanchez. Robert Jones has given Watford the free kick. Hyun Min Son wants a word with Robert Jones. Harry Kane also there as well. So they're clearly not happy with the man from Merseyside's decision, as it will be a Watford free kick around about sort of 30 yards out. Adam Messina was stood over this. A couple of Watford players are up for this. One of them is William Trostikong. Tottenham's line just outside the edge of the box. Watford pretty much going up against them for this free kick. So Loza and Messina near this. It is Loza who puts it in there, right to the back post. Kucka's the target. He tried to, I think, put that one back into a more dangerous area, or even try and take that under control. Was unable to do so, and it will be a Tottenham goal kick. Well, it's marking really from Spurs where they're just very narrow, and Davinson Sanchez was the man sort of the furthest left. He was completely on the inside, didn't even know that Kucka was behind him, and if he takes the pace off it, Loza, Kucka's got that under control, and if that first touch is right, of course it's all hypothetical, but he gets that touch right, he's definitely got a shot at Hugo Lloris's goal. Reguilon. Lovely ball out to Emerson Royale. Their crossfield passes today, Spurs, have been absolutely top-notch. Lucas Moore with a pacey low ball into the box. Sissoko back and clears it away. Well read by the Tottenham captain there. Sounded a bit like Jonathan Ross, didn't I? As the clearance comes in by the former Tottenham man, it will be a Spurs corner. Yeah, Lucas Moore and Emerson Royale just started to be a little bit more in league with each other in the last sort of few minutes, and that's what they need to do. You know, you saw Lucas Moore not really play alongside Emerson in an attacking point of view, but it's starting to change now. It is the first corner of the afternoon for Spurs, or for anyone in this game. Hyun Min Son's going to take it from the right-hand side. Only a quarter of the ball is in that quadrant. In goes the corner into the middle. Davinson Sanchez, the target. He was tussling with William Trostikong. And Sanchez's header has just gone high into the air and fallen into the hands of Daniel Bachmann, who then rolls it to Craig Cathcart. He then looks to try and find Josh King over on the left-hand side. Out jumps Emerson Royale, but he heads it to Davinson Sanchez, who volleys it away. Messina coming into the middle, the Watford left-back. Loza to Cathcart. Loza plays the ball over towards King. Takes it under control on his chest to Messina. Now to Musa Sissoko, of course. Watford attacking where the away fans are in that stand. A good sort of 75% of that stand is made up of Spurs fans. Loza tries to give it to Cathcart, but it's good work by Spurs to win it back as Reguilon gives it to Hyun Min Son. He's now getting going. Plays the ball on the outside of his foot to Emerson Royale. He's just got to try and kick it behind him to keep it in play, which he does. Into Oliver Skip, round about sort of 22 yards away from the Watford goal. Lucas Moura in the middle now to Hyun Min Son. Good turn. Not a shooting position, though. Pass is blocked by Ken Semmers. He looked for Emerson Royale. Davinson Sanchez to Eric Dyer. Right in the centre circle. Ben Davies. Over now towards Emerson Royale. Now to Hyun-Min Song over on the right-hand side. Low cross in, away by Sierralta for Watford. Here is Højbjerg. Puts the ball out into that sort of left-hand area of the box, looking for Reguilon to run onto it. I think it's Højbjerg's intention was to get it over the right back's head, which is Craig Cathcart for today's game, but in fact went straight to his chest as Watford clear it away. Tottenham, though, have it back there. They bring it out from the back into the middle of the pitch. Kane into Lucas Moura, around about 35 yards from the Watford goal. Well dispossessed by Imran Loza. Then Lucas Moura tries to successfully win the ball back, but instead hasn't, and has fouled Emmanuel Dennis and is not quite happy about that, is Lucas Moura, and it will be a Watford free kick. Vicarage Road, the place for Tottenham's first away trip of 2022 in this calendar year. It is Watford 0, Tottenham 0 so far. Evenly contested so far by both these sides, as it is 17th against 7th in terms of the Premier League standings for today's encounter. Hyun-Min Song tries to find Kane, lets it sort of run across him, goes right over to the right-hand channel, back heels to Emerson Royale. He puts the cross in, headed behind by Sierralta. Bachmann, though, has to let it go across him, and then he has to run all the way out to his right-hand side and then pick it up high, and then rolls it out to Jari Kutska, who looks for Emmanuel Dennis, but it's... So it looks for Ken Sema, but it's touched on well by Emerson Royale to a Spurs centre-back. Here is now Ken Sema. Shoots on his right foot. It is on target. It's driven low, but straight at Hugo Lloris. Yeah, it was a rare opportunity and a rare flutter forward by Watford, wasn't it? Bachmann rolled it out quickly to Jari Kutska, and where Tottenham had maybe 2 extra men commit forward, Watford were able to get out quickly. It was a bit of a messy setup for Ken Sema. He got a little bit lucky, went on his right foot, went on the inside, could have gone on the outside in his stronger foot, but just tried to catch, I think, Lloris out, but just didn't get the power behind the strike. Over to Emerson Royale once again on this right-hand side. The crossing has been quite poor for Spurs so far in this first half. Lucas Moura in the box. High one to the back post. Invites him on to attack. Reguilon tried to do so. Completely missed it as he just tried to hit it goalwards. He was only around 3 or 4 yards out, in fact, was Sergio Reguilon. But Lucas Moura's cross, it's always a tantalising one for any attacking player, isn't it, as you go over to the other side of the box. Over to Emerson Royale again from Kane. Oliver skips there. Hyun-Min Song's on the edge of the box. Højbjerg, who he picks out. Reguilon will shoot. Bachmann has to go to his left and save. And then Royale puts the ball back in. And then it's cleared by Sierralta. The first big save any keeper's made today. Here's Oliver Skip on the right-hand side. Into the middle. Reguilon headed behind to Højbjerg. Into Ben Davies, who's going to shoot through the crowd of bodies. Sierralta with his hands behind his back. Just in front of the penalty spot. Clears it away and gets in front of the shot. Into Hyun-Min Son, away from Loza. Reguilon, Son again, Kane. Over on the left-hand side, plays it forward. Emerson Royale with the flick on, just inside the box. Looking for Lucas Moura, in between is Francisco Sierralta. As Davinson Sanchez now has it. Round about 25 yards from goal. Centrally is Højbjerg. Looks to the edge of the box for Kane. But Trostekong is able to clear it away. Oliver Skip now for Spurs. Lucas Moura into Kane. This is his position. Takes on the chest, goes down. Was there a shove by Trostekong? And it's going to be a goal kick given by Robert Jones. Harry Kane went down under the arm of William Trostekong. It's whether or not it's sufficient enough contact to give it. In truth, the flag stayed down. He takes it on his chest, as I mentioned, and there is a little coming together from Trostekong, but certainly probably not enough to give a penalty. In moments before, a good sort of minute before that, there was that strike from Reguilon which stretched Daniel Bachmann. Reguilon did really well to hit it away from the Watford players right in front of the goalkeeper. Luckily, he didn't have an unrestricted view, so could see it in good time, the Austrian goalkeeper, and made a strong save to keep it out. Looking for Reguilon was Davinson Sanchez. Kuchka there to head it away. Dennis tries to play it in the middle to Loza. Tottenham win it back. 28 minutes play. Watford 0, Tottenham 0. Tottenham have had all the possession, but they didn't really make it count in 20 minutes. But now they're starting to change that. Reguilon on the left-hand side. First time cross into the box, but it's straight to Daniel Bachmann. It was too central. It was a height too nice for the goalkeeper. And Bachmann, as he has it in his hands, wants to roll it out quickly, but he's screaming at his team because they're not getting out quick enough. So he has to just slow the pace down even more and revert to just sort of kicking the ball out of his hands, which he'll do very, very shortly as the Watford defence push up along with the midfield. It's a kick that's spun out to the right flank. Dennis with a lovely first touch, and it's just a shame for him there that as he was trying to skip away from Reguilon, he slipped. And it will be a Tottenham throw. And Dennis, though, was a little bit unhappy with Sergio Reguilon, I think it was. He was trying to maybe have a little bit more of a swipe. I didn't fully see the incident, but I'll certainly see it very, very soon. When my monitor will have some replays of it, I'm sure. But play resumes, and Robert Jones just has a little word in the ear of Emmanuel Dennis, probably just trying to keep him in line a little bit. Emerson Royale, they're going to try and find Kane, trying to get that ball beyond Adam Messina, but it's under control nicely by the Watford defender, but it's not good to get away from Lucas Moura because he's lost it to the Brazilian. Advantage played by Robert Jones. Lucas Moura now just coming into a central position, being closed down pretty quickly by Loza. Plays it out to the left. Lucas Moura, of course, heading into his 5th year as a Tottenham player. It was this month when he signed from Paris Saint-Germain. Davinson Sanchez plays it out to Emerson Royale. Touch, gets the cross in. The delivery is headed away though by Sierralta. It will be a Tottenham throw-in. As you can see from Watford's point of view, just that real desire and real sort of motivation to keep that first clean sheet of the season. Kane, Reguilon, over it goes to the right hand flank again. It's gone to you-know-who. His name's cropped up a lot so far in this first half, but Emerson Royale's pass into the box has gone straight to Moussa Sissoko. He gets in those great positions. His run and his sort of awareness to try and keep the attacks alive has been pretty good, Emerson Royale, but his deliveries and passing and sort of crossing, however way you look at it, whatever type of delivery, has been pretty poor so far. But here's Harry Kane on the edge of the box, and he's just put it wide. Well, Watford gave it away in a very dangerous area. They left themselves in a very fragile position, and it was the worst man they could have had a chance for. Bachmann's pass, tried to find Loza, he just sort of slipped a little bit, didn't go to ground, he was stretching, and then Oliver Skip slid in. Great awareness to lay it off to Harry Kane in a great position. Had all the goal to aim for, even knew exactly where he was going to put it, but he just didn't get it right, did he? And he's curled it too far wide of Daniel Bachmann's goal as he dived to his left. And that is a really good chance that has gone begging for Spurs. And Watford cannot afford to give those chances to Spurs, and certainly Watford there have certainly got a slice of luck of Harry Kane blowing his chance and also adding to that goal scoring tally on New Year's Day, which is something that he's probably quite proud of. Not too sure if he's aware of, in fact. Here is Emerson Royale. Can he get the first time crossing? Looks for Lucas Moura. Well blocked though by Adam Messina, who almost seems to be acting as though like a third centre back. He is well off, Emerson Royale, and there is so much space for the Brazilian right back to put balls into the box at every possible turn. But as of yet, he hasn't really made that work. Heung-min Son, Lucas Moura, around about 20 yards from goal in the central position. Højbjerg with a short pass out to the left. Reguilon to Heung-min Son in the box. Comes out of it to play it to Ben Davies. Cross into the middle, looks for Kane, away by Sierralta. The second ball is won by King. Skip was trying to get on this chest, but King just left a bit of a hand in there, and Skip just sort of lost his balance. It wasn't enough for a shove, and Watford come away from it as Josh King in a real tight area inside his own half, a good well away from his own goal. He's able to play it back into the middle. 33 minutes played. Watford 0, Tottenham 0. Sergio Reguilon had a really good chance that Daniel Bachmann saved from distance, ran about sort of 20 yards out, which he was well equipped to keeping out. And then Harry Kane had the best chance when he curled it wide. If you wanted anyone to score for Spurs in a chance and in that area of the pitch to be any sort of goalkeeper from, it was Harry Kane, but it wasn't to be as he put his effort wide of the goal. Here is Oliver Skipp. Out to the right with Emerson Royale. Skipp has it again. What a time for this Spurs midfield to pick out their passes. Heung-min Son comes short for it. Little step over to his left to play it out to Sergio Reguilon. Watford have got 3 players over on that side. Jere Kutska at times has been acting as a right wing back, trying to keep out the Tottenham attack and thwart them. Reguilon gets the cross in. Troost-Ekong sends it into the air. The header is away though by Imran Loza. Josh King is outmuscled by Højbjerg, but then Loza does well to win it. And then he's given straight to Oliver Skipp. It was too heavy a touch as it went straight to Skipp. Forward by Lucas Moura. Looking to play it sort of on a curl on the left-hand side of the box to Harry Kane. He peeled away, but it's gone centrally anyway, straight to Daniel Bachmann. Is what it is, the start of a big week for Spurs. Of course, they've got the first leg of their League Cup semi-final against Chelsea to come, and then of course in 8 days time they face Morecambe in the FA Cup third round at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and then on the 12th of January they will be facing Chelsea in the second leg of the League Cup. So they've got a busy 2 weeks ahead, or just over as you could say, because on the 16th they've got Arsenal. What a massive game that is against Mikel Arteta's side. Of course, losers earlier on today against Manchester City. Ben Davies getting under control, turns away to the left-hand side, clears it forward. Looking for Kane, who's just positioned himself onto the halfway line, trying to play it to Heung-min Son, but it's intercepted well by Imran Loza, who's had a good first half so far as the Moroccan. First season after signing from Nantes. And he's someone who doesn't tend to finish a lot of games, does Imran Loza. Yet to complete 90 minutes this season in the Premier League. As Tottenham get a throw in. 10 minutes to go until the end of the first half. It is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. Emerson Royale to Oliver Skipp. Lucas Moura's ahead of him, just a couple of yards in fact. Harry Kane, 25 yards out. They really want him in a higher position, don't they? At least 5 or 10 yards up the pitch. More so towards Watford's last line of defence and in the box. Sanchez. Ben Davies. Reguilon's made the run in behind Kutska. It's a little bit short from Davies though, but well read in the end by Kutska. Dennis trying to flick away from Dyer and beat him for pace, but the header has gone straight to Dyer in fact. Højbjerg to Heung-min Son. This is his territory. Challenge goes in there by Kutska, and it was quite a successful one in fact. As he plays it out to Imran Loza. He's been very alert and very on top of things so far, as has Imran Loza. So it's been a real good effort and real workmanlike display from the Watford midfield so far. Skip to Emerson Royale, but it's still the same old problems for Spurs that they had against Southampton, yet to really sort of knock on that door enough to really cause the Watford defence problems, or the opposition defence in sort of general terms. Josh King, just inside his own half, trying to get away from Skip, comes to his right and makes a sliding challenge across him. Well timed as well. Here's Harry Kane. Lucas Moura into Skip. Can he play it first time to Emerson Royale? He'll race onto it. He's got 5 players in the box, gets the cross in. Heung-min Son off his chest, shouts for a handball. Robert Jones waves it away. Watford struggle to clear as a result of that block shot from Heung-min Son. And then Watford do eventually get it clear. There is a player down for the Hornets. Does look to be Imran Loza who's gone down. Troost-Ekong will now put it out, so Loza can receive some treatment. Took a whack of some sort. I believe it was an incident that I didn't see, so I will get to see that very, very shortly. But when Heung-min Son was about to let fly on the sort of half-turn snapshot, trying to hit it towards goal. It was well blocked by at least 3 or 4 Watford players as Højbjerg just sort of trampled on the back of Imran Loza's foot as he gets back up. He is just sort of hobbling a little bit, but will be okay. It looks like a little bit gingerly at the moment is how he's walking, but doesn't seem to be in a great deal of pain as we approach the final 7 minutes of the first half. 72% possession Tottenham have had so far, which is a fair reflection. But what counts at the moment is the fact that Watford have kept them at bay. Daniel Bachmann's only had really one real save to make in this game. Messina, on his weaker right foot, plays it forward. The centre circle is where Dennis is trying to flick it on. Played forward though by Loza, looking for Josh King, but it's hit with too much power, and Maurice off his line quickly to then roll it first time out to Ben Davies. Eric Dyer. Højbjerg. Heung-min Son. Ben Davies. Plays it towards Harry Kane. Højbjerg. Out to the right with Emerson Royal. Gets the cross in there. Højbjerg with the header, but it's straight at Daniel Bachmann. Yeah, almost just sort of flung himself at it there, did Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Comes into him at a considerable amount of pace, and he just sort of flicks his head to it, just trying to steer it into the sort of bottom corner to Daniel Bachmann's right, but it was one of those where the keeper wasn't able to sort of dive and was just able to just get across in good time. Sanchez on the ball. Can Spurs find a breakthrough at the end of this first half? Watford have stuck together and have done well so far. Skip tries to play for Emerson Royal, but Lucas Moura is offside. Flag raised by Richard West. A sort of yellow flag. Same colour as the Watford shirt. Take away the black off it as well. As Claudio Ranieri is talking to his coaching staff. Picho Hernandez also nodding his approval at something. As play will restart here with this free kick for Watford inside their own half. Around about 30 yards from Daniel Bachmann's goal as he goes all the way out to take it. Plays it forward, but it's gone straight back to Hugo Lloris, who will then roll it out to his right. Royal inside his own half. Ken Sema putting him under pressure. Royal goes down, does get the free kick. Ken Sema catches Emerson Royal there. And Sema gives him a bit of a handshake, little pat on the back just to say no harm was done. Emerson Royal back to his feet. Play will carry on. Last knock into the first half here. Watford 0, Tottenham 0. Dyer with the spreading of the play out to the right. Royal with it under control. I'd love to see how many first half touches the Tottenham right wing back has had in this first half. It seems as though most of the attacks have tried to be started from him. As Josh King wants a free kick. Thought he was being manhandled on there by Davinson Sanchez, but Robert Jones weighs play on. Dyer to Lucas Moura. First time little touch in the middle to Skip. Dyer to Emerson Royal. Got to put a deep cross on it. Does. Over the head of Heung-min Son. Volleyed away by Kucka. And then Sanchez with the header. Straight to Ken Sema on the edge of the box who clears. And then it's gone all the way back into Tottenham's half. Well, in terms of the top 7 sides they've played at home, they've played Liverpool, Manchester United, Chelsea and Manchester City. Losing 3, winning 1. They beat Manchester United 4-1, which was the end of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, wasn't it? Back in November. Højbjerg to Skip, round about 20 yards out. Plays it into the box to Heung-min Son. I don't think Heung-min Son really wanted that there because it was played at him at pace. And he had his back to goal. It seems as though he's had his back to goal quite a lot this first half, in fact. And then Sissoko gives it to Emmanuel Dennis, who tries to backheel it back to Sissoko. He did make the forward run, and then the second thing he did, he managed to fall over off the pitch. Out to the right again with Emerson Royale. Cross goes in. I think he might have took a nick off Messina there. Has carried all the way through to the box. Cathcart away. Skip. Now to Højbjerg. Into Harry Kane. Being held onto by Messina. Kane has just about kept his balance. Gets the cross in. Blocked by Messina. And then Royale. Hustling with Dennis. He gets it back there from Sanchez. Ken Sema comes away from it now for Watford, who are in possession. Dennis, King and Kuchka there, but it's hit the purple shirt and gone all the way back to the visitors with Davinson Sanchez. I can certainly remember Tottenham wearing all purple at least a decade ago in the Premier League. He's gone all the way through looking for Harry Kane. Sierralta away. Came on a bit offside, in fact, but because he didn't reach him or go towards him, flag stays down. Reguilon on the left-hand side of the box, crosses in. It's blocked off by Cathcart, all the way into the box to Loza, who clears it away. Sissoko with a little touch into Sema. He's just got to bring it away from Højbjerg, who stands up well. Good defensive play by the Dane to play it back to Davinson Sanchez. Højbjerg to Harry Kane. Can he get away from Messina? Tries to go in between him and Sema. It's Messina who gives him a little shove. And it will be a free kick to Tottenham with the last sort of 50 seconds of the first half to be played. Just, of course, just a few moments ago, there was that little potential incident with Harry Kane. And maybe his honesty was just on show there as Harry Kane was trying to get away from Messina, who did have a good old hold of his shirt. But Kane trying to not go down and win a penalty, just tried to play it to someone in the box, and certainly wasn't enough for a penalty. Has been involved in a penalty shout already in this game, so Robert Jones has twice not given it against, has given it not in Harry Kane's favour. Probably Kane maybe feels the world's against him. Spurs free kick though, Heung-min Son to take, 20 yards out, delivers it in, it's away by Messina. Eric Dyer was the man who went down in the box. Another Watford player was down there as well, maybe just a bit of handbags between the two there. It was Jere Kutska and Eric Dyer, the two players involved. Kutska went down, then took Dyer down with him. And that's even before the ball's even reached the Watford box. So he is dicing with death in terms of giving away a penalty there as Jere Kutska. Højbjerg to Reguilon. One additional minute of stoppage time at the end of this first half. Don't want to jinx it or have a bit of the commentator's curse, but it doesn't look like we're going to get a goal here. Lucas Moura to Davinson Sanchez. 20 more seconds for Watford to hold on. What's been a very good defensive display so far from their point of view. Lucas Moura into Son. Flags raised against Kane, who's offside. He was, of course, the man who played that ball into Lucas Moura, and that might just be that for the first half. Bachmann takes the kick, and there goes the half-time whistle. Well, Tottenham struggled to break Southampton down in their last game. That has been the case, but they have had two good opportunities at Daniel Bachmann's goal. The first one he saved from Sergio Reguilon, who fired a shot from 20 yards, which he was able to see amongst the crowd of bodies, the Austrian keeper for Watford, and saved to his left. Harry Kane, though, presented with a gilt-edged chance on the edge of the box, knew exactly where he wanted to place it, but he couldn't place it to where he wanted to as the technique was all wrong and he put it wide. Half-time at Vicarage Road, struggling Watford 0, top four chasing Tottenham 0.
Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from Bachmann, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it. But chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman Kane, whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it. But chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman Kane, whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it. But chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman Kane, whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it. But chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman Kane, whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it. But chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman Kane, whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it. But chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman Kane, whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it. But chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman Kane, whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it. But chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman Kane, whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it. But chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman Kane, whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it. But chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman Kane, whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon and Harry Kane. Reguilon forcing a save from backman, Kane whipping it wide of the far post. Tottenham need to improve in the final third in the second half if they're to get the win. It's 0-0. At half-time, it is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. It's been an opening 45 minutes that has seen Tottenham heavily dominate possession, 74% of it, but chances have been few and far between. Watford had an early one through Emmanuel Dennis, easily saved by Hugo Lloris. Tottenham's two best chances have fallen to Sergio Reguilon.
Well, here we go, back underway for the second half of this Premier League clash. It is Watford 0, Tottenham 0. The first 45 that Tottenham dominated in terms of possession. They did have the better of the chances as well, but were unable to convert any of their 8 shots, 3 of those on target. Watford did manage 2 attempts, both on target, neither really too testing for the goalkeeper. And we've seen some changes from Watford at the break. Dennis has gone off, João Pedro on in his place. Kane coming forwards now for Tottenham into the opposition box. Little cutback for Son, and this is much better from Spurs as South Korean tries to find some space in a crowded area. Now forced to Reguilon with the left-footed shot into the side netting. and a goal kick in the end, but less than a minute gone and Spurs on the front foot.
Yeah, they're once again coming back, aren't they, Spurs? They started the second half as they finished the first, pressurising this Watford goal. It was a good effort by Reguilon. It was teasing down there in that near post. I reckon the goalkeeper's vision must have been impaired by the amount of bodies in front of him, so it could have easily have snuck in if it was on target. But it's brighter from Spurs, a little bit more direct, a little bit quicker. But as the cross comes in there, it's cleared away by Watford. But I think it's harsh on Emmanuel Dennis to be dragged off at half-time. I think he hasn't really got into the game at all, to be honest. He hasn't done anything wrong, he hasn't done anything right, because I think the problem lies with behind him. They're not creating the chances, they're not using the midfield to bridge the gap in between the defence and the attack. They need to get their frontmen and get into the game and bring on João Pedro. I'm not really sure whether that will change much. I don't think he's going to be that person who provides the support from the midfield to the attack. So I think it's unfortunate for Emmanuel Dennis, but maybe João Pedro will prove me wrong and maybe bring a bit of light into this game for Watford.
Ball around the back now from Tottenham, looking to send Emerson Royal to the back line. He squeezes the cross away, but the flag had gone up, so it's going to be a free kick to Watford, right on the edge of their own penalty area, or in that vicinity. A couple of minutes into this second half, and it's just the one change that Watford made at the break. So in full length, the teams look like this. For Watford in goal, it's Bachmann, then Cathcart, Trusticong, Sierralta and Messina, Sissoko, Sima, Kuka, Lauser, King and Pedro. For Tottenham, as you were, Lloris in goal, Sanchez, Dyer, Davis, Royal, Reguilon, Skip, Højbjerg, Son, Kane and Luke.
And now João Pedro, of course, who came on for Dennis at the start of the second half. Tottenham, Lloris, Sanchez, Dyer, Davies, Royal, Højbjerg, Skip, Reguilon, Mora, Heung-min Son, Harry Kane. The subs, Angelini and Gakia, Morris, Cleverley, Goslin, Tufan, Fletcher, Hernandez for Watford. For Tottenham, Galini, Doherty, Roden, Tanganga, Winks, Lo Celso, Dele, and Ndombele, and Brian Hill. As Watford will get a free kick, courtesy of a foul by Sergio Reguilon. Watford wanted a yellow card shown, but the referee Robert Jones telling the Watford player protesting Jere Kutska to go away, so it will be Imran Loza who's going to take this. Looks like it's going to be an in-swinging delivery, so it's going to go over the heads of the Tottenham defenders, is it? Yes, it is. Kutska was the target. Last touch has come off a purple shirt. Davinson Sanchez, it was in fact who got the last touch. So it will be the first corner of the second half for Watford, who of course are attacking the stand behind Hugo Lloris's goal, where the home fans are. Of course, the side stands named after Graham Taylor and Elton John as well. Corner comes in from the left, looking for João Pedro. It's away by Kane. Now Tottenham look to go on the break and hit Watford where it hurts, but Ken Sema does brilliantly to not allow that to take place. Ball goes in by Josh King. It's away by Dyer in the middle of the Tottenham box. Josh King's trying to spin away from Skip. Heung-min Son back there, good defending. And then the 50-50's contested by Adam Messina and Lucas Moura, which sees Adam Messina come out on top. 5 minutes of the second half played. Watford 0, Tottenham 0. Heung-min Son on the edge of the on the halfway line. Trying to get away from Trostikong, brings him out, but Sissoko's filling in. Kane with the little dummy, sets Reguilon free. Reguilon in the box, onto his right foot now. Back heel's on his left foot, just got on the inside there and just didn't really fancy a pot, but Kane will have a go, hits his own player, who was trying his very, very best to move out of the way. But in fact, it's come off his back, and Watford are able to clear, and then Sissoko with it on the edge of the box has eventually had a heavy touch. This sees Tottenham get a throw around about 25 yards from Daniel Bachmann's goal. Reguilon with a searching ball out to Royal in the box, gets under control on his right foot. Lucas Moura will shoot, but it's on target and kept out by Daniel Bachmann. Always difficult ones for goalkeepers, aren't they? Just trying to keep that one out. It comes to him nicely. He goes on the outside right of Imran Loza and he just drills it, but it's straight at Bachmann. And again,
He's occupied a good starting position, hasn't he, the Austrian goalkeeper? Here is now Adam Messina for Watford on this left-hand side. Plays it to Ken Sema. Cross has beaten everybody in the box, including Josh King, the only Watford player in there to try and attack it. Hojbjerg out to Davinson Sanchez. Now to Emerson Royal. Ball in front of him. Ken Sema is battling alongside him. Has been a real titanic sort of effort defensively from Watford to keep Tottenham quiet. They've still got to keep doing it. Kane trying to wriggle away from Sierralta. Does shoot on target. Bachmann has to tip it over. Even though he fell over Harry Kane as he took aim, he still got it on target and forced Daniel Bachmann into stretching high to keep him out and keep it at 0-0. That's what Kane's so good at. Eventually finds that little space to get the shot and he runs into it. He gets away from Sierralta. Lowe's has tried to close it down as well. It's straight, but it's high. And Bachmann knows he's not going to catch it because he's really close to it. He's just got to tip it over, and that's exactly what he did. Good keeping. Son's going to take this corner for Spurs. Puts it in there to the box this time. Header away at the near post, though, by Josh King. Throw-in will be taken by Reguilon for Spurs. Midway through the Watford half. Now Oliver Skipp, around about 35 yards out from the Watford goal in a central position. Davinson Sanchez over to Emerson Royal. Now to Kane on that right-hand side. Tries to play it back to Royal, but it's cleared away by Adam Messina, who clears it straight to Eric Dyer, who will go all the way back to Hugo Lloris in the Spurs goal. Now it's Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg to Heung-min Son. Tottenham trying to push forward as they attack the Vicarage Road stand, where the large contingent of Tottenham fans are. The right-hand side of it, a good 75% of it, as I mentioned, is occupied by away supporters. Away by Davinson Sanchez. Now Emerson Royal has spun away from Joao Pedro. Ken Sema goes in, wins it cleanly, comes away with it into Josh King. He might shoot here. He does! And it's a fantastic effort by Josh King, which has forced a very good save out of Hugo Lloris. The Norwegian Josh King with arguably Watford's best chance of the game, their best moment. And it was a real corker of an attempt that Lloris has really had to stretch far and wide to keep out with his left glove. The inside of it is kept it out as the ball bounces behind him and out for a corner, which Imran Loza is going to take on this right-hand side, right in front of the Graham Taylor stand, isn't it? Or sort of the right-hand side of it, of course, named after the former England manager, man who managed Watford twice to great success. Of course, it is 5 years this month since he passed away. It will be Loza who's going to take this. Into the box it goes, looking for Sissoko. Reguilon there to head it away. Only as far as the other side to Cathcart. The left-hand side is where he heads it from. Puts back in right into the heart of the Tottenham defence, looking for Kutska. But it's poor clearance by Spurs. It's come to Joao Pedro, took it on the chest. Then had to hit it, but just didn't get a sweet enough connection, and it just strays all the way through to Hugo Lloris in the Tottenham goal. And then the kick high from Lloris was not able to see a flick on at all from a Tottenham point of view, and it is defended well by Watford in the end. If they do get a point themselves, will go 3 clear of the drop zone. Of course, Burnley, Newcastle, Norwich in there. Newcastle won't be playing this weekend due to COVID and injury problems. Over to Emerson Royal. Norwich also not playing, of course. They were due to play Leicester at this time. Royal gets away from Sema. Cross goes in, away by Kutska. Davis. Can he get his touch right? No, he cannot. He's always scrambling for the second one. So it just sort of bounced off his shin pad. And as he tried to play it forward or play it to the side, not sure what his intentions would have been. He's got him with a bit of a high foot there. And he's conceded a free kick for Watford. 10 minutes of the second half gone. Watford 0. Tottenham 0. is the latest score. Tanganga is one of a few players on the bench for Spurs. They also as well have Dele and Matt Doherty, two players who are reportedly being told they can leave the club this month with the January transfer window officially opening today. Expected that Tottenham will be busy. Dusan Vlahovic is one of the names linked. Fiorentina striker having an unbelievable season for La Viola in the Italian top flight. Free kick Watford's way as Davinson Sanchez goes into the back of Josh King's leg. But it's a game that Tottenham are not having all their own way. After that King chance, that might have just raised the stakes a little bit and maybe just said to Antonio Conte and Tottenham, you know, they're not going to be here to just maybe settle on the 0-0. They're going to try and nick a win if they can. As it will be a Watford free kick. It will be Imran Loza who's going to take. Again, Tottenham have got all their defensive line, all as one. Just in front of the edge of the box. In by Loza into the box. Good one to run onto. Kuczka puts it back in. It's got off the back of the head of Davinson Sanchez. It will be a Watford corner. Whipped that in with real pace, didn't he? And it was actually just Davinson Sanchez hitting it straight out as opposed to a flick from a Watford player. But the Watford fans are singing. Real encouraging steps towards Hugo Lloris's goal and encouraging steps to take the lead in this encounter, which remains goalless at the moment. Into the box it goes. King attacks it, but heads it over Lloris with his hand up in the air to just see that one go beyond him as Josh King is had a bit of a problem in his foot, I think. Loza put the ball in. King and Royale were both climbing up forward. It was King that won the header, but it was just a bit of a heavy landing. Wanted a softer one, didn't he? But it was a heavy one on his foot and has headed it over the bar. Over to the left-hand side it goes, looking for Reguilon. He's got he's got the beating of the pace of Kuczka. He goes down. Thought he was a shove from the Slovakian, but the referee says no. Kuczka will give it to Cathcart. Trostekong. Now over to the left with Messina. To mention about Spurs' bench, you've got Giovanni Lo Celso, Tanguy Ndombele, Brian Hill on the bench as well. So there is a lot of quality there, you could say. Not quite as star-studded as some of the likes of Manchester City, Chelsea or Liverpool, but certainly still quality enough. Watford have a throw right in front of Claudio Ranieri. Messina throws it, looking for João Pedro. Flick on. Sanchez with the header away for Spurs. Sierrata heads it forward. Bouncing ball. Catches Sissoko out. Skip with the header forward. Sissoko gets it away to the left-hand side. Lucas Moura goes in with a challenge. It's a clean one. Last touch has gone off Sissoko, and it will be a Tottenham throw-in. Around about 35 yards from there. Own goal with Antonio Conte standing on, giving instructions, talking to his players with his hands in his big puffer coat, sort of the navy blue one he's wearing today. Ben Davies on the ball. Going to carry on forward as he plays it inside to Kane. He then looks up looking for Emerson Royale. Ken Sema turns into it and then plays it into the midfield. That's a vital interception by the Swedish winger. Skip. On. Here is Sanchez around about 30 yards from Daniel Bachmann's goal. They got into a few of these positions, didn't they, Tottenham, but really didn't have it pay off in their favour, did they? Højbjerg to the edge of the box. Heung-min Son now finds Emerson Royale. Low cross in there. Is this the moment? Højbjerg and Lucas Moura seem to just get in each other's way and can strike a shot at Daniel Bachmann's goal. João Pedro gets away from Oliver Skip. It's now Watford's turn to go forward. He's having his shirt held onto. He might still be going here. This is really good play by João Pedro. And then he's screaming at the referee, Robert Jones, saying he wanted to carry on, but Robert Jones has issued a yellow card for a Tottenham player, but it was such good work by João Pedro. Nothing fazed him, just was confident enough to keep going, shrugged off Skip, got away from Sanchez. It was a clear, obvious pull by Oliver Skip onto the shirt of João Pedro, and the referee stopped João Pedro rather than himself, and it is a Watford free kick, which Tottenham could potentially be quite happy with, because this free kick probably could count for nothing, and João Pedro would probably, you'd have to say, the position he was in, sort of around the edge of the box, 18-yard area, certainly was looking like he was going to set up a shot. Still a chance though for Watford. Pedro, Messina, Sema near this free kick. Hugo Lloris shifted over to his right-hand side, that left-hand post, which Watford are going to try and shoot this free kick into, I'd imagine. Making sure his angles are covered. The wall is right. Robert Jones has told the Tottenham wall to get back as they strayed forward. Trying to wipe the line out that the referee had drawn up. I'm still just trying to make the referee's job a little bit more difficult with them moving forward from the wall. There's 5 in there. Down is, I think, Oliver Skip. It's going to be either Messina or João Pedro. Skip is in the wall. The man down for Spurs looks to be Heung-min Son. It is João Pedro. And after that longer wait, free kick was not nice to see. Well, he gets over the wall, but it's such a difficult one, isn't he? He just sort of taps his head, doesn't he, with his knuckles, just to say he knows he should have done better with it. But maybe they could have just, took the pace off it a little bit. But he just almost wrapped himself too much around it, if that is such a thing. And in the end, it's a wasteful attempt to test Lloris. 17 minutes of the second half played. It is Watford 0, Tottenham 0 is the latest score. Free kick is gone Watford's way. Reguilon and Jere Kutska were involved in a bit of a tussle. It looked like at first, yeah, it did. He just pushes Jere Kutska. He was just blocking his run on the inside. Reguilon was trying to get beyond him, and the referee Robert Jones did see that Kutska went down, but Reguilon quite cleverly tried to almost act like he'd been fouled and had his foot sort of trampled on, but the referee was not having any of it. And will be a Watford free kick. Second ball is contested well. Davies, though, clears. His 2 Watford players tried to charge him down right in front of him over on the right-hand side. Here is Loza, plays the ball out to the right, slips over the head of Reguilon. Kutska there again, but it is offside as he was coming back from a position behind Reguilon. Free kick is taken short. Dyer. The only 3 p.m. game played in the Premier League this Saturday afternoon or New Year's Day, the first match of 2022 for both. We were due to have Leicester Norwich at the King Power, but Norwich had put a request in to have the game postponed, which the Premier League approved due to injuries and COVID cases ripping through their team. Sissoko trying to rip through a pass beyond the Tottenham defence, which he's unable to do because Sanchez defends it well. Forced into a little corner by King, who penned him into that left-hand side. And then he's only put the ball out for a Watford throw-in. Throw-in is taken by Messina. Finds Ken Sema. Is getting held onto, is he, by Emerson Royale. Robert Jones is there to let go throughout this game and does let that one go. Still no sign of any more alterations. Members, Watford have already made 1 sub. Emmanuel Dennis came off. João Pedro went on for him at the start of the second half. Emerson Royale with the header away. Sema gets up above Oliver Skip. Then Eric Dyer gets in front of João Pedro. Ball is now on the ground with Ben Davies. Højbjerg. Lucas Moura right on the halfway line, but under some scrutiny from Messina. But Lucas Moura manages to play it to Højbjerg, who shifts it out to the right with Emerson Royale. Kane in the box. Can he pick him out? Over his head. Kutska away. Out to Lucas Moura, around about 25 yards out. Centrally tries to play it through to Højbjerg, but it's blocked off a Watford shirt. And then got out to Emerson Royale. Davies. Reguilon. Kane. Shrugs off Loza. Good low centre of gravity by Kane. Into Davies, into the box. High one. Looking for Lucas Moura. Heads it behind. Emerson Royale drills it in. And then Heung-min Son in the middle. Just tried to flick it goalwards. But has flicked it off target, in fact. And it's a Watford goal kick. Well, Davies put the cross in too high for Lucas Moura. He's up in the air, isn't he? A good few seconds. The only thing he could do there is just head it behind Emerson Royale. That's exactly what he's done. And Emerson Royale catches it on the volley into the middle. And Heung-min Son in the right place. He's onside. He's level with Sierralta, and Trostekong just tries to back in it goalwards. Tries to catch Bachmann out, but it's gone wide of the goal and has put it wide. So it will be a Tottenham throwing inside their own half. Antonio Conte in conversation with Christian Stellini, his assistant coach, maybe now thinking just to say to a couple of his subs to get warmed up because you're about to come on very, very soon. Oliver Skip to Kane. Sierralta goes in on the back of him but doesn't actually foul Harry Kane. So Robert Jones is under no right to give that a foul. Sissoko can't get away from Dyer, who just flicks it away from him. João Pedro. Cross goes in looking for King. Away by Sanchez. And on the edge of the box, Davies then fully heads it away. Messina. To Sema. Looking to get the better of Emerson Royale. Has done, as he. Heavy touch there by Sema. We'll see a Tottenham goal kick. Well, Harry Winks is about to come on. He's got the call from his manager to take his sort of training jacket off and to get the instructions from the coaching staff. I'd imagine this would be for Oliver Skip, of course. He's on a yellow card, but that sub could be held back here because Reguilon was trying to race onto a ball that had saw him beat Kutska for pace, but the touch off his chest was too heavy, and then he slid in trying to hook it back into the box to the far side, the right-hand side of it, in fact, but it is a Watford goal kick. Well, if it was to stay like this would be a welcome point for Watford. As I mentioned, it'd be their first clean sheet this season, their first one in 28 matches in the Premier League, so nearly 2 years since their last one. Under Ranieri, they have seemingly scored more goals, but defensively they've been even more leaky. Only Newcastle have the worst defence than them in the league, but they do have the most losses in the Division, 12 from 17 going into this weekend. As we are heading into the final 20 minutes, so Harry Winks will come on. We don't know who it is yet because Craig Paulson's board hasn't actually read the red number, but it will be Oliver Skip, just as I thought, who comes off. So the man who was out of the place of the team for Skip comes on for him for the remainder of this game. Harry Winks on in place of Oliver Skip. So 20 to go. 0-0 is the score between Watford and Tottenham. And it will be a Tottenham free kick. Adam Messina fouls Lucas Moura. And about sort of 40 yards away from the goal. Taken short, though. Gone from the right-hand side into the middle. Højbjerg plays his short out to the left with Ben Davies. Højbjerg. Winks. Sanchez pokes it through to Emerson Royale on that right-hand side. Sissoko using his body well, and it's just too strong. It just backs into Emerson Royale, and it will be a Watford goal kick. Perhaps didn't actually cross those two. Sissoko left just before Emerson Royale arrived from Barcelona. Bachman takes a kick, restarts the play, goes into the Tottenham half. Ben Davies gets up, but only heads it out for a Watford throw. It'll be Cathcart who's going to take the throw in. Throws it down the line for Kutska. A little bit beyond Pedro, who was the nearest target. Coming away with it was Harry Winks. He just goes over to the right-hand side of the pitch. Sanchez to Eric Dyer. Now Ben Davies. Good play by Harry Kane. Lucas Moura. Away he goes from Adam Messina. Plays it out to Emerson Royale. High cross into the box as Kane gets up above Cathcart, wins it, but then it's cleared away by a Watford defender. Back helping out. Lucas Moura gets the cross and he found Heung-min Son, who is denied by Daniel Bachmann. That was the chance he wanted. It was put onto his foot. He just turns into it. And Daniel Bachmann in front of him to keep him out and keep it at 0-0. What a ball in by Lucas Moura. That's the best ball of the match. Great run by Heung-min Son. Runs through the middle, keeps his eyes on the ball. Great turn into it. He's just tried to steer it beyond Bachmann, but it's a high one. The keeper's just able to claw away to his right for a corner. Son with the corner, and it goes. It's headed behind for another corner kick. Sierralta, the Watford centre-back, heading it behind for a corner kick. It's one of the only real times that Tottenham have really tested Daniel Bachmann in this game. Certainly the first chance I can certainly remember of the second half anyway. Corner will come in again from the left-hand side. Same position as before. Robert Jones got his eyes on, pushing and shoving in there. Corner goes right into the middle of Daniel Bachmann's 6-yard box. It's Oko in front of it to head it away. Dyer inside his own half. Tottenham still have it though. Now inside the Watford half. Over to the right of Emerson Royale. Around about 25 yards from goal. Lucas Moura into Højbjerg. Over to the left with Reguilon. Surely got to get the ball into the box. He's going to take on Kutska. Has he beat him on the outside? No, he hasn't. Kutska blocks it. Reguilon still gets it back. Crosses it on his right foot. Away by Messina. Then Joao Pedro gets the header in first. Header Davinson Sanchez. Sanchez to Højbjerg. Tries to go back to Harry Winks, who slips but gets the challenge in against King. Well-timed tackle by Davies. There's a Watford player down. I think it might be Imran Loza here, who still stayed down. Tottenham, though, ain't going to kick this ball out. Watford want it to. It's not a head injury. And Tottenham do eventually kick that ball out of play, which I don't think they should have done. Ben Davies is kicked out, much to the anger of his own team's fans. As he went in, it was a challenge where Loza was fully committed just as much as Ben Davies. He gets the ball, certainly catches him high on his knee. Certainly not enough for a booking, I don't think. And Loza will now receive some treatment. How serious his injury actually is remains another thing entirely. But we've got 15 minutes left of this game to go. Watford 0, Tottenham 0 is the latest score in this one at Vicarage Road. Of course, there's another Premier League game to end the day's action. Crystal Palace against West Ham. West Ham, of course, one of the sides in the mix for a place in the top 4. Manchester United, Arsenal also in there as well. And then, of course, tomorrow there's more action. We were supposed to have Southampton, Newcastle. That is a casualty. That won't be getting played. So instead we have Brentford, Aston Villa, Everton, Brighton, Leeds versus Burnley, all at 2 o'clock. And then at 4:30, the big game, Chelsea versus Liverpool. And if you haven't already seen, Jurgen Klopp is going to be missing for Liverpool in the dugout due to him having to self-isolate over a COVID test, which seems a bit inconclusive, it seems. So play restarts with Watford kicking it back into the Tottenham half. Here is now Højbjerg to Ben Davies. Featured in every game last season, as he has this season, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. So we're talking just under 60 games in counting, in fact, in the Premier League that he's featured in for Tottenham. Harry Kane, good turn. Sets the chance up as King fouls him, free kick. He wanted that there, did Harry Kane, but it's taken quickly by Spurs. Lucas Moura does get the cross in. Reguilon's the target. Kucka heads it behind for a corner kick. Watford having to be on their toes, having to be really alert and making sure that they can keep Tottenham out. It's going to be a corner to be taken on the left-hand side. Heung-min Son's going to take this. And what I've noticed about him, whenever he puts the yellow ball over on that quadrant, only a quarter of it is actually on it. Most of it is on the outside of it. In goes the corner, right into the middle of the box. Davinson Sanchez was the man he was aiming for. Sissoko away. Joao Pedro makes a mess of the clearance. Højbjerg to Sanchez. Kane with the cross in. Chance of a handball. Lucas Moura lets it run. Heung-min Son hits it, but hits it well away from goal and into the away end. Sort of the bottom row of it, in fact. Well, Watford couldn't quite get rid of it, and it was just falling at Tottenham for every possible opportunity, wasn't it? Lucas did really well to just let it run across his body, almost act as a decoy to allow the chance for Heung-min Son, who fired it over. And that is a chance that has failed to go on target from the South Korean, who does have a pretty impressive record against Watford, doesn't he? Does Heung-min Son. There's 5 goals in his last 6 starts against Watford. Scored twice at Vicarage Road in December 2015 and December 2017, in fact. So he does like coming here as an opposing player. Neil Backman has the ball in his hands. Kicks it out of his hands. Joao Pedro off his chest into Loza. Then he takes off his chest, then sprays the ball out to Kucka. Cathcart to Loza. Sierralta's got to go forward to clear that. Lucas Moura hunting him down. Joao Pedro and Sanchez were having a bit of a tussle, both grabbing each other's shirt. Pedro goes down, wants a free kick. Robert Jones says, get up and carry on. Sissoko trying to continue the attack here for Watford, but Tottenham come away with it. Højbjerg plays it out now to Harry Kane. Heung-min Son is racing. Has he found him? No. Taken well on the chest by Trace Kong, who plays it into Imran Loza. Vitally did that there, the Nigerian defender, because had he missed it, Heung-min Son would have probably got that under control and had a shot on goal. Forward it goes into Heung-min Son from Harry Winks. Gets it back. Højbjerg to Kane, who's onside. Low cross goes in, blocked by Sierralta. The Watford players want Richard West's flag to be raised on that right-hand side, but he's not going to do so. Instead, play continues, heading into the final 10 minutes. Still no goal, but still no goals between Watford and Tottenham here. As Harry Winks gives it straight to Sissoko, who then plays it to Imran Loza, who's probably my shout for man of the match. Him or Jero Kucka, who's been absolutely superb for Watford when they've effectively at times played with a back 5. Messina's been the left wing back. Kucka's been the right wing back. They've almost just set up in a defensive shape in which Tottenham sort of do, don't they? And Antonio Conte's team, they do look like a shadow of a team that I did see against West Ham in the League Cup over a week ago now in that 2-1 win, when that first half they just had bundles of energy, didn't they? They've got to find it from somewhere, though. Davies to the edge of the box. Heung-min Son trying to get the chance away. Back to Lucas Moura, 25 yards out from goal. Central position. To his right, in support is Davinson Sanchez. Lucas Moura gets it back. Clips it into the box, looking for Kane. They had a Messina there to Sissoko, and then Ken Sema clears it away. There's a Tottenham player down. Højbjerg's down. Watford won't kick this out. Here's Josh King into Joao Pedro. Lloris comes out and has got the ball there, has he? Yes, he has. Joao Pedro with his hands on his head. He's convinced that Lloris didn't get any of the ball, but God only him. and only him, in fact. But Robert Jones, his gut instinct and his decision is to let play continue and no penalty to be given. Ben Davies coming forward for Spurs. Bit desperate now for Spurs. Kane gets it from Reguilon over on the left-hand side in the middle. So Højbjerg is going to shoot low. And it's straight at Daniel Bachmann. Didn't really fancy just popping it left or right, did he? Højbjerg wanted to go for goal, but just snatched at it. And there it is again. Always difficult when the goalkeeper goes to ground. Your heart's going to be skipping a beat, isn't it? He goes down. Well, that is a penalty. Does not get any of the ball. Does Hugo Lloris. Catches Joao Pedro's foot, it does look like. It didn't even go to VAR. Lee Mason is the man on VAR, in fact, and he didn't address Robert Jones to go and look at his monitor that he has at Vicarage Road on the side of the pitch. Højbjerg, Davies will strike. Good block though by Craig Cathcart. Plays out to Kutska. Reguilon intercepts, then Cathcart's there again to play it to Kutska. This time clears it away. Pedro nutmegs Højbjerg. It has been quite lively as Joao Pedro, the young man. Ben Davies with a sliding challenge that leaves Joao Pedro in a heap on the ground. Gets back up though, and it will be a Watford throw just inside their own half. So Giovanni Lo Celso is going to come on for Spurs. Sergio Reguilon will make way. Lo Celso back involved after missing a couple of matches with an apparent injury. Has been linked this week with a move to Juventus on loan with Massimiliano Allegri. Time will tell if he is a part of Conte's plans. Did say, didn't he, in the sort of 2 months, he does know that he does need to strengthen and that he does need to get some better players in. Does Antonio Conte? You can't help but feel he wouldn't have gone to Tottenham if he wasn't promised money bags and a lorry load of cash. Winks over to Emerson Royal. Midway through the Watford half, Lo Celso to Lucas Moura, to Harry Kane. Gets beyond Adam Messina, is onside, has just timed his run well enough. Royal to Kane again. Lucas Moura, Højbjerg, Son and Lo Celso in front of him. Goes to the side and Ben Davies, his left-hand side to be precise. Dyer goes out to the right. Watford maintaining their shape, keeping at 2 banks of 4, keeping discipline. Into Kane in the box, he receives his shot from Royal. Cross goes in low. Bachmann dive for it. I think Sierralta actually cleared it behind him there. That could have gone absolutely anywhere as it just cannoned off the foot of Sierralta. Sanchez is headed to Lucas Moura on the halfway line receiving it. 5+ minutes to go. Watford 0, Tottenham 0. Højbjerg. Eric Dyer. Højbjerg again. Winks to Royal. Here to Winks again. No real sort of need for Tottenham at the moment to try and get stretching the Watford defence. They need to probably do that a little bit more. The off-the-ball movement hasn't really been there today. Maybe that sign of fatigue and tiredness is creeping in over the busy period they've had. Kane in the box, forced onto the right-hand side of the box. Manages to get away from Sierra to get the ball in, but Sissoko's there to clear. Loza will keep it in play on the left-hand side. Clear it, though. Straight to Davinson Sanchez. Winks to Lo Celso. Winks again, coming forward in those white boots of his. Now to Lucas. Højbjerg to Ben Davies. Central position, round about 25 yards out. He's going to cross it high to Harry Kane. Over his head. Royal takes shape of it. But the play is stopped for an incident here. It was blown by Robert Jones, and this might look like some sort of medical emergency perhaps in the crowd here at Vicarage Road. They did have this, didn't they, when they played Chelsea around about a month ago. That game was delayed for a considerable amount of time due to a fan collapse, and we don't know what the latest is yet, but Robert Jones, the referee, was very quick to make their call. The camera hasn't actually panned into the crowd, so it does look like something like this has happened. As the players of both sides are just walking around, so it does look like some sort of medical emergency, as what has been the case.